congrats on your final immunity win.
Thanks, doggy dog.
Very exciting. Now, at that point, you have to make a decision. As a viewer, I was under the impression Liz being so open about not needing the money guarantees she doesn't win. Sit next to her, easy peasy. But you clearly did not want to sit next to her. Explain that one
It
to me.
wasn't even that. I think people are like trying to find where the strategy was in that. I knew I wasn't going to win. I knew the jury did not really mess with me most of the game. So the final four, we called ourselves the bottom four for a while, and it wasn't shown. But Liz did, she did say she needed the money, but she also had the numbers. She was the last Nami standing,
Mhm.
you know? And Liz did make some moves. She was responsible for the Tevin move. She knew people's perception of her and she flew under the radar the same way Kenzie knew people's perception of her and managed her threat level. Um, but to me, it was like the reason I brought Charlie and Kenzie to the end is like Kenzie was my number one at the merge and Charlie was my day one. And I really just wanted them to have a chance. I was so messed up. I couldn't play the game I wanted to play. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. But, I think anybody would be dumb to sit there before Final Tribal and think, here's a bunch of people that never included you on anything and asked how you were doing. Here's why they're going to give you $1 million. You know what I'm saying? So I know I went off the rails on that answer, but I think you get what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. And you said you didn't eat, you didn't sleep, yet you showed up at every challenge or tribal with a big smile on your face, all the vibes. Like
Yeah.
how did you do that?
Um, you worry before go like one of the things I worried about before going on Survivor was who am I going to be deprived of all my comfort and my security blankets when I don't have like my Metallica or Oasis cassettes. But I did that thanks to the help of the people who were kind to me, which I gotta say really comes down to Kenzie, comes down to Charlie, comes down to Liz. I couldn't sleep. I wasn't comfortable. Venus would take the palm fronds and make a bed for some of us who had trouble sleeping on dirt. And I was still excited to be there. What am I going to do? It's like I told Tim before one challenge, we can eat later, we can sleep later. But in the words of 50 Cent, let's get rich or die trying. So it was like, what story am I going to tell on my deathbed that I quit because I couldn't sleep? I was so excited. You're there with Jeff. You're playing Survivor. Everything looks like a Sonic Adventure level around you. It was like I was still in awe despite all the pain?
Wow. I don't know, but that sounds amazing. I have to assume that had we gone to a tie for the winner, that you would have voted for Charlie to win. Is that your
Yeah.
thinking?
Yeah. I mean, listen, in that moment, it could have gone either way, but really, I had thought about it before I put Kenzie to fire. Kenzie and I had this conversation. She was worried about how Tribal was going to go. And she crushed it at Tribal. She had great answers. But she was like, we were all sitting there. Even Liz was like, why aren't you going to put Charlie to fire? He's got the best game. But I was like, I knew I wasn't going to win. And Charlie was my day one. And he played amazingly. And you saw it. None of them asked me questions. People said time or laughed when I opened my mouth. I made the right decision, putting the person I thought could sweep the house. You know what I'm saying? And I think both of them did great. I'm proud of both of them for making it to the end. But I think, people will hate me, be like, but Kenzie held your hand. It's like, so did Charlie. And it wasn't shown. And I'm sorry that that's your perception. But I love the guy, and we're still best friends to this day. So, that's how I feel about it. I mean, I'm getting choked up just thinking about
Oh.
if I could talk about something that wasn't on camera. But my worst night terror was on day 25. And I ran down to the beach, and Charlie and I quoted Lord of the Rings all the time. And he was paraphrasing that scene where it's like, Frodo could only take the ring so far, and I might not be able to carry the ring, but I'll be the Sam to your Frodo, and I'll carry you. And he threw me on his shoulder. and ran me up the stairs to go back to bed like we were on top of Mount Doom. It was like, I wish people could have seen that. It was like the best, you know? So
Yes.
that's where it would have gone, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like on top of the friendship level, he played, he always included me, you know? Like he's just a dude who rips. Not that Kenzie doesn't rip, you know, but everybody's asking what my thought was
Yeah.
in that moment, you know, and I have my journal that I started writing at Pondy, and I've been showing it, and it's like all my it's like I started writing it when I got home, and I'm trying to find like a good page, but like I drew some of the challenges. I drew out the table at the merge feast. And look, I wrote everybody in the correct position even though I hadn't seen it yet. So it's like what I did right was like about my friendship with Charlie and Kenzie, and it's like I thought Charlie never lost his cool. He charmed everyone, and he didn't charm everyone by putting on an act. That's who he is.
Mm.
And yeah, sorry, I'm getting choked up, but he rips. So,
I think ripping is a good thing.
yeah,
Okay. Let's talk about your anxiety a little bit. I mean,
yeah,
I have struggled with anxiety in the past, but I've never seen night
yeah.
terrors like this. After you got out of the game, did they go away? Were you able to process them or learn
They
from it?
ended pretty quickly, you
Hmm.
know. Um,
It was
and I
game
struggled.
related.
It was, yeah. I mean, I've had one moment like that in my life when I was 18. You know, when you're
Hmm.
going to college and you got to say goodbye to your hometown and everything's about to change, but it was not at the level that it was.
Hmm.
And struggle with anxiety, but I got music and I've got my systems and my way of working it out and letting that energy out. A lot of that was energy not being able to move and knowing my body was eating itself alive. And it subsided when I got home. And I think it all came back around the last week of August, like full swing. It was like, the the jury didn't really talk to me when I got home. They didn't talk to me at the jury either, you know. I had really no one to process everything I went through with. I had Tim, I had Charlie, I had Liz, I had Kenzie, but at some point, like, you know, for a couple months, like I don't know what came over me. It was like I had to start processing the game myself. And it was like I was back on the island. I had to write about it. So I have the journal. It's like for months I couldn't sleep. I don't think it was till I was on tour in Europe, so far removed from my own bed and from everything, that I was finally able to just get a moment of peace and start sleeping again. And it was like again back to 2 hours a night. And I did everything I could. I played music, I worked out, I ate well. But it just goes to show you the effect some of this can have on you can linger. I'm in a good place now, but
Well,
I'm
that's
just
good to hear.
yeah, I'm just grateful I have those tools like playing
Yes.
music and stuff. I can't imagine
Yes.
what it must be like. I don't know if I'm the first Survivor to play or to have it that bad, but I can't imagine what it's like for somebody who goes on Survivor that isn't a creative person or has that outlet to go home with all that energy and not be able to put it anywhere. You know what
Mhm.
I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Early on in the season, you said you didn't even cry when you met Nicolas Cage, and I just had to find out what's up with Nicolas Cage.
Oh my God. All right. So I'm obviously a fan of like expressionists, extremists, David Lee Roth, Liam Gallagher, you know. But Nicolas Cage, he's like one of these actors that, yeah, people have made a meme of him, but he always goes full throttle. He always wears his heart on his sleeve. You've got Leaving Las Vegas, which is like, an incredibly depressing movie. You got Face Off, which is a summer blockbuster. You got Raising Arizona, which is like this art house movie. The guy's never afraid to be anything other than original, you know? And he, like, his work ethic inspires me. He's like, a million movies, partying his ass off, saying crazy shit all the time. He clearly doesn't care what his perception is in those moments because he's living his truth. And funnily enough, the day I got asked to do Survivor and sign on, at the end of my interview process, I was like, I need a sign from the universe to go do this show because I was so fearful of how I'd be portrayed or what I would go through. And that day, Nicolas Cage announced he was doing a Q&A in Miami. So when I went to meet him, I had this question for him. What do you do when there's opportunities you're fearful of? And the Q&A is fully uploaded somewhere. But I didn't even get to ask the question. The mic was in my hand and he just started talking about that stuff, completely unrelated. And I felt like the universe was using Nicolas Cage as a channel to go on Survivor, you know? And I've been waiting to meet him since I was like 8 years old, you know? So, yeah, he
That's
ripped.
amazing.
Yeah.
But also, I've been so excited to wait to talk to you because I'm an astrologer, and you
Nice.
gave us an episode title with Scorpio in it. What
Yeah.
is your level of astrology knowledge? You threw it out a
Pretty
few
hard,
times.
shout out to my personal astrologer, Ofra. I've been seeing her since I was three.
So, okay, so you
She's
know
the
your
reason I
whole
play
chart.
music. Yeah, I actually have my
What's your
chart.
rising?
I have my Ponderosa journal has my chart in
Oh
it
my
and
God, yeah.
the placement of the season and what was happening with the stars.
Yes.
But I'm an Aries, Scorpio
Yes.
rising, Capricorn moon,
Scorpio, right. Yep.
Aquarius Mars, and then to
Hmm.
negate all that bad boy energy, I got a Venus in Pisces. So,
Yes.
you know,
And an Aries Mercury, right?
yep.
Oh, I love it. Scorpio rising. Ah, thank you so much, Ben. It was really enjoyable to watch you go on this crazy wild journey. You are a vibe. I really
Thank you.
appreciate talking to
You rock.
you.